Dad had been offered a 2-year gig at the Institute for Global Ethics to work on a project about running positive political campaigns. I saw the move as a way to leave my workaday life as the public relations director of a small college, to trade in my pantyhose and suits for jeans and sweaters, and to get back to writing. Fully expecting to return to LA in a couple of years, we found tenants for our small house there. But 2 years turned into 2 more, and 5 years after moving, we finally unloaded our Spanish-style fixer-upper in LA, unsure if we would ever head west again. Moving to Camden felt a little like we'd entered the witness protection program. So far from everyone we'd known, plunked down into a new life. I took to that life more easily than one might expect, embracing it with pinch-me elation. Pancakes on Sundays, a fully stocked pantry with an extra freezer for meat, trips to the pumpkin patch, red wagons in the driveway, rain boots and slickers, mittens and parkas. This was the stuff of ordinary families, which I'd carefully observed during childhood sleepovers. Having grown up in a series of small apartments with my single mother, who was much more interested in books and travel than picket fences and seasonal door wreaths, I kept waiting for the residents of Camden to discover that I didn't belong. Oh, I knew how to look the part at Mommy and Me music classes, or when it was my turn to handle a baking project at the preschool, or while hanging out under a wide-brimmed straw hat at the local beach, my kids appropriately slathered with sunscreen and playing with sand pails and shovels. But I still felt inferior, the way I had as a kid when I would tell friends and their parents that my mother was a lawyer rather than a legal secretary. I told that lie right up through college, even though the thought of being found out made me queasy. Being around certain people prompted such lies in me. In Camden, people like Kim Tate and her husband Jack. Kim was a tall, athletic blonde who'd gone to Yale. She'd met Jack, also tall but dark and handsome enough, on the train between New Haven and New York City one afternoon when they were both in college. With their good looks and money, the Tates were small-town famous. Other mothers at our preschool had a crush on Jack. One of them went so far as to tell Kim that she looked forward to receiving their photo Christmas card so she could moon over him. I had more of a crush on Kim, whose 3 perfect little children were spaced a 1.5 years apart, lined up like cherub-faced Russian nesting dolls in hand-knitted sweaters she'd designed and made. Our oldest kids, Kim's and mine, were in the 4s and 5s class at the co-op preschool, along with Susanna's son. If Kim was on the elite end of the social spectrum, Susanna was on the other. Or at least that's where, I admit now, I put her. Almost from the moment I met her, something about Susanna made me steer clear. If I saw her faded, rust-colored Toyota in the school's parking lot, I stayed in my own car, behind darkened windows. I waited to go inside until after she and her son emerged from the school, their fingers laced, the day's artwork flapping in Susanna's other hand. She was one of those pretty girl women, 21, 23, 25? If she hadn't been a mother, she might have seemed even younger, like a teenager, with her whole life ahead of her. I'd seen fathers at the preschool watching her, trying to be nonchalant as they homed in on her. You could tell that she'd grown up attracting such attention and was no longer surprised or moved by it. At first, I wondered if my impulse to avoid her was simple jealousy, because she was younger and sexier than I was. Her short skirts and angled beret over long corn silk hair displayed a confidence that I'd never had. Later, I noticed that she avoided me and the other parents as well, never lingering to chat on the playground. She always smiled, but hurried purposefully. My mother had projected a similar defensive smile when she attended my school events or collected me from a sleepover. Just we two.